The Netflix documentary Pamela, a love story, finally gives Anderson the space to tell her truth at a time when we're finally ready and willing to listen. Hello, good people. Welcome to our channel. In this video, we are going to talk about Pamela Anderson and the dark history we must not ignore. Before we get started, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. So stay tuned and sit back, relax, and enjoy. This excerpt is from editor Kevin Follin's pop culture newsletter Obsessed for the Daily Beast. Sign up here to receive the complete email in your inbox every week. When I was a kid, there were a few things my family would always watch together. New episodes of Seventh Heaven every Monday night, Rodgers and Hammerstein musical VHS cassettes, and Baywatch. Looking back, it is mystifying how this fit within the strict definition of morally upstanding, family-friendly programming that governed my pop culture diet as a child. I was captivated by the moment, though. It was the entire family. Perhaps it shouldn't have come as a surprise that we were such Baywatch fans. After all, it was the most watched TV program worldwide. And what were we, Flulons, if not a part of the world? Despite repeated allegations that some of us definitely came from another planet, the show's slow-motion visuals of the centerfold-ready performers dashing down a beach in bathing suits made many chuckle. But with its extraordinary popularity came an unprecedented level of sexism on a worldwide scale. You could watch that show with the sound off. In fact, according to Baywatch star Pamela Anderson's own joke, "We watched Baywatch for the plot, I swear." It would be far from me to disagree with the Baywatch queen, especially at such a lovely, long overdue moment of praise for her and her career. Do you know that Fox program called 911 with the week's ridiculous, somewhat absurd tragedy that everyone is supposed to love? Baywatch pioneered it and used attractive individuals. Every odd wharf explosion and boat kidnapping that these beach lifeguards were absurdly sent to like they were some red-skinned Paw Patrol of the Santa Monica State Beach had me spellbound. I became fixated on the characters in the same way that viewers become fixated on soap opera stars, including Caroline, Cody, and Stephanie, but Anderson's portrayal of CJ Parker caught my attention the most. Not for that reason. I believe I was a little too young to find that fascinating. Later on in life, I would realize why she wouldn't have been the person I was ogling, even if I had been old enough. Greetings, David Chavert. However, Anderson somehow ignited a spark that slipped through the screen and into my mind, where it would linger for years to come. I even saw the 2005 comedy Stacked with my friends. People of a given age group are constantly debating what constitutes a millennial versus a Gen X person or, in certain circumstances, a Gen Z person, what years, what kind of upbringing, what pop culture memories. But I came to a discovery last week when reading about the rumors surrounding Pamela Anderson's recently published memoir, Love, Pamela, and watching the new Pamela, a love story Netflix documentary. And now after watching it, the Pam Anderson generation unites us all. It's now time for us to come to terms. For both sincere and unsavory reasons, we have made Anderson a permanent resident of the zeitgeist and have been concerned with him for decades. Even when nothing particularly significant in her career was occurring, she continued to be present, as if she had been pushed into a reinforced war bunker rather than a place in the public's consciousness. We are being forced to acknowledge that she wasn't given a say in that decision by the abundance of initiatives this week that center on Anderson. We were unable to hear her even when she was speaking. Yes, we do recall everything, including the Playboy centerfold, the Baywatch breakthrough, the brief marriage to Tommy Lee, the sex tape, the Scary Movie franchise appearance, the sporadic gigs over the years, the numerous marriages and divorces, the PETA activism, and the friendship with Julian Assange. And most recently, we can think back to the debut of the Hulu series Pam and Tommy, which without her permission dramatized the most turbulent and intrusive period of her life. We even regrettably recall the less honorable turning points, how Anderson was misogynistically demonized after the sex tape was stolen and leaked, how she was unable to give an interview without mentioning her breasts, and how she persevered by agreeing to play the role of Pam Anderson in order to keep working and survive. Really, this is Anderson's first chance to speak about how she feels and has felt about all of those things. To be more precise, it's the first opportunity she's had to do so at a moment when we are prepared to listen. One could click play on this tell-all documentary anticipating something hot, provocative, and incendiary because of the way everything is connected to Anderson's fame and because that's how we all thought we knew her life. It was such a welcome surprise to run across Anderson in such a welcoming, amusing, and even silly environment. Her wit and wisdom are both razor sharp. Her lucidity, though, is what truly stands out. It was frequently emotional as she allowed the filmmaker Ryan White access to her private journals and viewed on camera the endless amounts of home video footage she had accumulated over the years. There are undoubtedly enlightening views regarding the brutal humiliation she went through and the violation of privacy she experienced when the sex film was made public. Anderson is completely honest throughout, particularly when talking about how sick she felt when Pam and Tommy were released, and the past she had tried so hard to move on was brought back into the spotlight. However, she primarily discusses her emotions related to love, trust, taking chances, and discovering who she truly is after years of being told to be a certain way. I began paraphrasing remarks in the hopes of discovering explosive material for a catchy headline about Anderson retaliating against her assailants. Instead, by the time the documentary was out, I had put up a Google Doc that was more appropriately named Therapy Session via Pam. In my opinion, we don't necessarily owe it to Anderson to watch this documentary and hear what she has to say about all that has happened while she has been in the spotlight. If anything, Pamela, a love story, demonstrates her wonderful capacity to continue living her life no matter what the general public thinks or feels. However, perhaps we owe it to the generation that is still growing and learning from the awfulness of the past. Thanks for watching this video. If you love this video, please like the video and comment with your thoughts. Hit the subscribe button to watch more videos like this.